Terrorist attack at Pride Berlin. I am in Berlin still right now. As you can see in the background, you see the TV tower, you see the parking slightly behind my hotel. I was there at the Pride in Berlin. However, fortunately, well, looking back at it, fortunately, I left the Pride celebration slightly early to go back to my hotel. I was already in a safe space, in a safe place when the terrorist attack happened. So I was not affected in a way that the car that actually ran to the people could affect me. However, we have more than 29 people. We have 29 people injured as far as I know right now. I'm recording this on Sunday night, so anything from here, I can't know when you watch or hear this. And one person lost their life. The question is what to do. The question is what to do. And I also received, so first, of course, thank you very much for the countless messages which I received from friends, relatives, acquaintances, and also from lots of clients. Thank you very much for your support here. And some of you already saw that Der Spiegel, the German magazine, Spiegel Magazine, did an interview with me, not only with me, with many other great people, and me, as I tend to say. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Many people also wondered, what should I do now? Because it is perfectly normal that after a terrorist attack, people say, I'm helpless, I don't know what to do. I know that on Monday morning, I will meet my queer people, my queer friends, my queer colleagues. What should I say? What should I do? Just a couple of words about this. So first, of course, take care of the people who need it most. I give you a very simple example. I am a white man, cisgender, and as a self-employed person who fortunately is reasonably successful with what I'm doing, I am in a financially safe situation. And due to that, I can help myself. Due to that, I am in the situation to be able to solve certain situations which other people clearly can't. Young people often are not in that situation. Marginalized communities are not in that situation. Especially women and minorities are marginalized, so help them first. You often will feel that you can't help everyone, and that's true. So help people first who need it most. However, you also need to be clear on your stand. When I hear that some people still say, why do we still need pride? Well, here we are. That's probably the point where we need pride. And when you say, why do we actually need pride? You're not only politically ignorant, you have no point of view, obviously, on what's going on in the world at the moment. You see that this is actively harmful. And when anyone says, oh, all of these prides are just parties, right? I mean, if you want, we can do prides again, as we did them back in the days with Stonewall. Remember? When riots happened in the street, policemen got beaten up, windows smashed. You want that back? We don't. Probably you want. No one wants that. So why do we need pride? That's why. And by the way, if you ever said something like we need pride or pride is just a party, it is now time to apologize. If not, you disqualify yourself not only from leadership, you disqualify yourself from being worked with together in any position, in any context for the foreseeable future. And of course, and I'm addressing that in the interview that I did with May, I'm going to show you that in a minute. Immediately, far right-winged organizations and political movements jumped on that. Immediately, they said, oh, it's the immigrants. Oh, it's all of the Islam. Oh, it's all of these foreign non-white people. And no, that is not the case. It is absolutely telling that the AfD, a far right-wing secured extremist movement in Germany, confirmed by court that they are far right-wing extremists, they made a press release. And in the press release, of course, they immediately blamed only foreigners for it, and not a single word regarding the victims. Not a single word, which very clearly tells you where they stand on this. They don't care that queer people got killed. They don't care that queer people got injured. They only want to put their xenophobia out there, which also very clearly, and I want to be unambiguously clear here, very clearly says that when people in your organization, your circle of friends or anywhere else affiliate themselves with extremist movements, may it be the AfD in Germany, may it be the Rassemblement National in France, may it be the Reform Party in the UK, these people with their extremist views deeply based in populist movements are unable to lead or to work with anyone because they're obviously unable to understand complex situations with complex solutions. You want an easy solution in a complex world, and that doesn't exist. And if you think you should go down that route, you're unsuitable for any kind of leadership or organizational role, and you have to face these consequences. On top of that, we today had a mourning, a memorial at the Brandenburg Gate, and I was there very early. I mean, from yesterday to today, almost no sleep happened anyway from helping people through this night. And Friedrich Merz, our chancellor, besides Mr. Wegner, who's the Berlin mayor, they spoke in the St. Marine Church, which is the church about a mile away from the Brandenburg Gate. Whatever Mr. Wegner said, he's the mayor that's not going to be re-elected anyway, because he's not running again. However, when Mr. Merz, our chancellor, stands there again, and first he says, I have a couple of greetings, personal words, he said, for the queer community. First, when you then go on with, dear ladies and gentlemen, you really didn't do your homework, but that's a side remark in these times now. When you say, and you said that word by word because I was there, you said word by word that you fight with us. Mr. Merz, not only did you lie to us about the household and the money in there, we all know that, and I am referring to legal professors and professionals who say that he lied on that matter. That's not my personal opinion, that's just facts. However, you were the one that put the action plan for queer life to death. You just closed it down. And just recently, you defunded Lambda, which is a queer youth network for people in marginalized situations who are in dire need of help. And you just defunded that one. You're fighting with us. You're hiding that pretty well. So, Mr. Merz, as a chancellor, please stop lying. And any leader, by the way, in any organization listening to this, when you do not support diversity, then simply say that besides the fact that the scientific evidence in favor of diversity, equity, and inclusion is unambiguously clear, as unambiguous as it can ever be, when you still say you support everything, but not with money or actions, you're not supporting anything. You just want to use this for advertising. And by the way, as we had our Pride on Saturday, we very much realized which brands were there again and which brands suddenly weren't. And no worries, that's going to have consequences. It obviously will have. The problem here is not Islam. The problem here is not the foreigners. The problem is extremism. And we have to deal with that. Take care of your communities. Help people. Offer help. And when you say, I don't know how to do that, there is one method which, fortunately, due to the means I have, I'm professionally qualified by Johns Hopkins University. It's called PFA, Psychological First Aid. Follow 3 steps. And these are 3 steps anyone can take right now. It's called look, listen, link. So first you look, who are the people who suddenly change behavior? Who are the people who suddenly change behavior in a weird way? Calm people who play overly cheering, people who are usually quite cheering, being very calm, who really changed behavior, because that's a warning sign. Listen to them. Listening alone helps a lot because people see I am not alone here. Someone is there to listen and probably help. And when you say, I don't know how to do it from here, then link them up with professionals. And when you want to send them my way, send them my way. You can find all of my contact data on LinkedIn and on the internet anyway. Contact me in any kind of means. And now I will show you, and because the video is done in German, I will translate it step by step, one after another, how the mourning went, what happened there, and also what people said who were there, because they interviewed many great people, as I tend to say, many great people and me. So let's take a look what Der Spiegel and the Spiegel magazine did here.
Ja, gerade auf dem Pariser Platz, wo eine
So first, you see here that the journalist is on the Pariser Platz, which is close to Brandenburg Gate. And she says that what is taking place, there is a memorial for the victims of the terrorist attacks.
Mahnwache stattfindet nach dem Anschlag auf den CSD gestern, bei dem mehrere Menschen schwer verletzt wurden und sogar eine Person gestorben ist.
She then mentions that there are people who were injured and one person even got killed.
Man sieht hier Menschen, die weinen.
We see people who cry. And yes, that is me, actually. That is me with a friend of mine who is a great person from the trans community in Berlin. And after a long night with very little sleep, clearly emotions took control of us. And we both cry in that situation, and that was desperately needed. And the journalist mentions here that we see people crying, but also
die extrem mitgenommen sind, aber man sieht auch, dass sie sich gegenseitig in die Arme fallen und
she says that people also hug each other and help each other.
Versuchen Halt zu geben, und sie versuchen auch diese Mahnwache nochmal zu nutzen, um ein politisches Statement zu setzen gegen den Hass gegen ihre Community.
And here she says that we're going to use this memorial, this mourning, to raise awareness against the hate against our community.
Ich bin heute hier, weil der Anschlag auf den CSD nicht nur ein Anschlag auf unsere Community ist.
She says she's not only here because the attack was an attack against the community,
Sondern ein Anschlag auf Menschenrechte.
it was an attack against human rights.
Auf die Würde der Menschen.
It was an attack against the dignity of humankind itself,
Auf uns alle.
against all of us,
Auf uns als Zivilgesellschaft.
against us as a civilized society.
Wo ist die Politik, wenn man sie braucht?
Where's politics when we need it?
Ja, wenn ich schon wieder höre, der angebliche Täter.
Where's politics when we need them? And then she says, when I hear again, oh, the alleged offender, well, no one knows. And then,
Es steht ja noch nichts fest, ist Polizei bekannt.
surprise, surprise, it's already known to the police, but obviously no one did anything.
Man muss sich fragen, wer hat da versagt?
We have to wonder who failed here.
Ich war gestern noch auf dem CSD und fand es so beeindruckend.
She was at Pride Berlin and she was very impressed how many hundreds of thousands of people protested peacefully together.
Wie viele hunderttausende Menschen demonstriert haben, aber dabei friedlich und fröhlich waren, egal von welcher sexuellen Ausrichtung sie waren.
And she was impressed that anyone could celebrate there, irrelevant of their sexual orientation.
Umso mehr hat mich halt der Vorfall geschockt.
And she was even more shocked by what happened then.
Jetzt kann
And now you see, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see me and you will also hear me in a minute.
ich ja noch von Glück reden.
I said I'm in a rather, in high commas, lucky situation as,
Meine Güte, ich bin weißer
good grief, I'm a white man, that's what I say here.
Mann, Cisgender und
I'm cisgender and for lucky situation, I'm self-employed in an economically stable position.
zum Glück als Selbstständiger wirtschaftlich in einer stabilen Position. Mich trifft das ja als Letztes.
All of that will affect me the least due to the situation in which I am.
Wir haben hier Leute, die wollen einen verdammten Tag
We have people here who just 1 day per year,
im Jahr, einen verdammten Tag im Jahr eine gute Zeit haben.
they just want to have a good time for 1 day per year. We see I'm clearly emotionally affected here, by the way, after a long, long day and a short, short night.
Die jetzt vielleicht zu Hause sitzen und sagen, warum mache ich das überhaupt noch?
And we have people who now probably sit at home and wonder, why do I still keep going? Why do I still keep going? Where's the point in all of this?
Und gleichzeitig haben wir politische Bewegungen,
And at the same time, we have political movements
die das sofort nutzen werden, um Hass zu sehen, was überhaupt keine Lösung ist.
they will misuse this, abuse this to seed hate, which is no solution at all.
Es ist nicht so, dass die Ausländer oder der Islam an sich das Problem ist.
It is not the case that the foreigner or the Islam is the problem.
Es gibt Radikalismus, da müssen wir gegen vorgehen.
There's radicalism and we need to have a go against that.
Wir sind kein Lebensstil, das ist kein Lifestyle.
The next person says we are not some sort of lifestyle, some lifestyle choice.
Es ist unser Leben und das müssen wir mit allem verteidigen und dafür einstehen, weil wir sind so, wie wir sind.
She says that this is not a lifestyle choice and we have to defend everything we have. We are as we are and we will not leave.
Und wir gehen nicht weg.
Ich stehe
That was the interview. I really hope that I would never have to do any kind of episode like this. As you can see, this is not the usual setting. This is not the usual way of how I do podcasts or videocast. This is a personal message. And it's a personal message which is hopefully resounding with you, which is hopefully and maybe helpful for you. And I hope that you now see how important diversity, equity, and inclusion organization is. And when the new week begins, just promise me that you will always be slightly more or a bit more or a lot more part of the solution rather than being part of the problem or saying something which might be deeply hurting in these situations. I wish you all the best doing so. Please contact me if you need any help or if I can help you in any way. As always, at the end of these episodes, there's one thing I say at the very end. Thank you very much for your time.